So, it is so decided.
We still have to adopt the resolution, though, huh?
Share the latest information I have just received. The United States of America has also joined the list of co-sponsors for this resolution.
This is ICASTnews.com, live and direct from the United Nations in New York City. An unusual day in the General Assembly of the United Nations. The General Assembly, where is generally noise, not procedure, generally a cacophony of voices, not unanimity. Today there was unanimity. By voice acclamation, 192 members of the United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution that paired together such unusual combinations as the United States and Cuba, the United States and Venezuela, countries usually at loggerheads. At issue, denouncing the coup last Sunday that overthrew the democratically elected president of Honduras, José Manuel Zelaya. In a short one-page summary, and short is unusual for the United Nations, especially the General Assembly, the delegates demanded immediate and unconditional restoration of legitimate and constitutional government of the President of the Republic, Mr. José Manuel Zelaya, and decides to recognize no government other than that of the constitutional President, Mr. José Manuel Zelaya. The voice vote under President of the General Assembly, Descoto, who initiated today's session, was unanimous. Unanimity in the General Assembly. And Mr. Zelaya addressed the General Assembly. Let's listen for a minute.
En nombre En nombre de la Asamblea General.
On behalf of the General Assembly, I have the honor to welcome to the United Nations His Excellency José Manuel Zelaya Rosales, President, Constitutional President of the Republic of Honduras, and to invite him to address the General Assembly. The resolution that the United Nations has just adopted unanimously, with the vote of all countries that are members of this August Assembly, expresses the indignation of the people of Honduras and of people worldwide who continue to struggle for the only principles that can prevail in accordance with the United Nations Charter. Agreements, international human rights agreements, at the same time the fundamental values underpinning humanity, namely the right to life, to freedom, to justice, to individual dignity and collective dignity, as well as the right of citizen participation, all so significant in this new century, where challenges and where conditions become increasingly complex, but where at the same time we have greater strength, greater awareness, and more instruments to be able to respond to the problems that we face, thus finding solutions which are increasingly global, as indeed the world itself is, to which we are all committed. This resolution is historic. It is significant. And it will empower every last citizen of this world to be able to continue these great conquests of humankind. Now, there are some who stand in the way of these conquests, who are of the view that the use of force and of violence should continue, and that this should prevail over the peace and coexistent.
As amazing as Jose Manuel Zelaya's comments about the need for rule of law, about his belief in democracy, about how Christ's blood would protect him, about how he was against usurpers of authority, about how he was a victim of acts of brutal aggression attacking the democratic will of the people of Honduras. The personal story was much more possessive. Possessing us, as he explained how he heard gunshots, how he heard banging on his door Sunday morning at 5 a.m., how soldiers armed with guns, including what he said were large guns, poked him in the stomach and said to him, "Put down that cell phone or we will shoot." Only in the 21st century do we hear soldiers ordering a president to put down that dangerous weapon, a cell phone. The president of Honduras pleaded for the support and backing of the United Nations, and he got it. The other surprising thing was not his account, but his plans for the future. This is what he told journalists assembled later in the afternoon in the press center. Let's listen.
Sorry for the delay, and we are going to have the press conference starting right now with President ZELAYA from Honduras and the President of the General Assembly, Miguel de Escoto Brockman. La rueda de prensa va a tener...
The meeting will be taking place in English and Spanish.
Translation available for you. I'll give the floor to President Miguel de Escoto. El Presidente de Escoto tiene la palabra.
President de Escoto has the floor.
Honor and privilege to present to you the only legitimate constitutional president of the Republic of Honduras. You know the situation that has provoked his visit to us here, so I leave him with you for questions.
The first question, as is traditional in the United Nations, goes to the ANCA correspondent, Jean-Pierre.
Welcome again. And you just had the vote at the United Nations General Assembly. Who's going to protect you when you land back to your country in a day or two? And are you willing to compromise? You said in your speech that you didn't seek a second mandate. Is the referendum a material for compromise when you come back and to restore the peace in the country and stability?